Today on CityLine, rolling out the red carpet, the Oscar nominees to watch, and the future of the film industry. Good morning to you. I'm Jessica Brown. Tonight, you can watch the 98th Oscars right here on WCVB. Before the Sea of Stars comes together, history has already been made. Sinners received a record-breaking 16 Oscar nominations, and there is one woman who shaped the very fabric of this groundbreaking film. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me in my home state of Massachusetts. I love it.
Ruth E. Carter is from Springfield, Massachusetts, and she's nothing short of a legend. The costume designer has crafted some of the most iconic looks in Hollywood.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be.
She transported us to the kingdom of Wakanda, creating the costumes in Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That work earning her 2 Oscars.
Mom, thank you for teaching me about people and their stories. You are the original superhero. Thank you.
Her first win made Carter the first African American to receive the Oscar for Best Costume Design, but she didn't stop there. Carter just earned her 5th Oscar nomination for Sinners. That makes her the most nominated Black woman in Academy Awards history across any category. When you first heard the news, what was that like for you?
I was very happy to be joined by my colleagues in Sinners with 16 historic nominations. And actually, I was so focused on that and cheering the morning that the announcements came out. It wasn't until someone texted me that I had a 5th nomination, which was historic for the Academy, that I realized that, I had also nailed a place in this historic event. So it felt like, what is happening?
When it comes to the costumes in Ryan Coogler's Sinners, the devil is in the details.
With Michael B. Jordan playing his own twin, we had to tell the story of reverse migration. With Mary, I really wanted to show her traveling away from the South. Sammy has a lot of patches on his costume, where his guitar has worn down the sides of his vest, on his knees.
And then there is the time travel scene that captivated us all.
So we combined how ancestral and modern still has those anachronisms, it still has that through line.
To Carter, Sinners is a testament to the talent of the people who created it.
We really didn't go at it thinking about winning awards. I'm really proud that we could contribute to the culture in this way.
Carter isn't just contributing to the culture, she's changing it.
I think that it's a different Hollywood than it was when I came in the industry. When I came in, I could count the number of costume designers of color on one hand.
Carter says the industry has come a long way, but what comes next is up to us.
When I came in, I thought, wow, maybe I could be the first to be nominated. And then I was. Wow, maybe I might win and I'll be the first to win an Oscar. And then I was. So be the change you want to see. And I think now it has opened up quite a bit and our stories are being told more.
We are rooting for her win, that is for sure. Joining me now to discuss Sinners and all the big movies this season is film critic Sarah Vincent. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
I'm excited. You had a little teaser that you gave me during this package. What was it about Ruth E. Carter that we should be aware of?
Okay, so I'm sure you have some nerds in the audience who love TV shows. She did the costuming for Serenity, and everyone adored Firefly and never wanted it to leave. And Serenity was like the farewell, and she did the costumes for that. And most people probably don't know that.
How about that? I didn't know that. All right. We got to talk about Sinners, right? Because this movie, everyone, it seems to resonate with everyone. Everyone's talking about it. Why, for you, did it earn so many nominations?
So when I saw it in March last year, everyone, and there was not one single dissenting voice, loved this film, crying, stunned, couldn't talk. It is very rare for a film to still be your favorite by the end of the year, and that was the film for me. Every year I have a favorite, and then towards the end of award season, some movie comes in and knocks it off the shelf and puts it at number 2. This is one of the rare movies that doesn't happen. Plus, it's a musical. It really speaks to a lot of people, you know, they are devout, but they have to reconcile it with a part of their life that it seems like is at war with it. And I think a lot of people just relate to it. Plus, they're vampires, and who doesn't love a vampire?
Right. There's so many twists and turns, and you leave the film remembering certain scenes, and then you have epiphanies about what it all means. So it's really one of those films. There are 10 nominees, though, for Best Picture, including Sinners. What film do you think will win?
I'm sad to say.
Okay.
But it looks like One Battle After Another is really in the lead when you look at other award shows. So if Oscars falls in that sort of line and does what everyone else is doing, we have to be prepared for One Battle After Another to possibly sweep. I don't want it. I'm rooting for Sinners in everything. If Sinners couldn't win and I had a choice, I would want it to be The Secret Agent. So if you haven't seen The Secret Agent, see that. That movie is amazing. And I feel like it's the movie that One Battle After Another wants to be.
Interesting. You know what? I haven't seen that one yet. I'm going to watch it, but right before we see the Oscars. So, okay, what do you think deserves the best award for Best Actor? Because, you know, there's a lot of people on this list that a lot of people are rooting for you. Who should be winning?
Again, it's all Sinners all the time. Michael B. Jordan, when I didn't know this detail about him, but that he was able to make his dimples disappear and to do that for so long at will, that's very, very, the rigor that takes is insane to me. And I'm so glad that Wunmi Mosaku mentioned it, because otherwise we wouldn't know. And I think people sort of take him for granted because he's been around. He was a child actor. How many child actors do we know that, you know, as they get older, they still are able to present a pretty good body of work without doing anything that we know of incredibly embarrassing? We're looking at Timothée. You know, it's really hard to be in the spotlight all the time and be perfect. And he's really done a great job. He was in The Wire, Friday Night Lights. These are prestige TV shows. These are not like nothing. So he wasn't like a kid actor who was in a sitcom.
Right.
He's the one I'm rooting for. If I had my way, that's what would happen. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio hasn't really been in the conversation, and he's been nominated a number of times. Timothée is probably the one who everyone's looking at, but I'm really hoping that it's Michael Jordan. Again, if it couldn't be Michael Jordan, the person I want is Wagner Moura from The Secret Agent.
Interesting.
I love him. I think that movie is amazing.
All right, let's go on for your prediction for Best Actress.
Best Actress, it looks like it's Jessie Buckley for Hamnet.
Oh.
But Rose Byrne also did really well in award seasons, but the campaigning seemed to be a little off. They both did rigorous, emotionally strong work. I'm partial to Kate Hudson, even though she's not winning. But I love her.
She's not winning.
She's not winning, but I really did love Song Sung Blue, and I'm used to her playing a character who's more brassy and not down on her luck. So it was a real transformation and eye-opening. Also, I also like the idea of having Oscar presenters having to pronounce Renate Reinsve. She did a great job in Sentimental Value. She is a really great actress. She's probably not going to win, but she is someone who I wish more people knew about.
Okay, let's talk about Best Supporting Role. Who stands out to you when it comes to these nominees?
Actor or actress?
Let's start with actor.
Ooh. Okay, well, we know what I want. Delroy Lindo. What I would love if Delroy Lindo couldn't get it, and I don't think he's going to get it, and I don't think the person I want to get it is going to get it, Stellan Skarsgård. This is his first Oscar nominee, and he has literally produced, he's not only a good actor, he produces good actors. He's got like a family brand name, and they're all so different. So I feel like he should get almost an Oscar for like his contribution to society, besides his work. But it does feel like a One Battle After Another world where it's Benicio del Toro, who I don't mind actually winning. He's an amazing actor.
Same thing for actress, though. There's a lot of buzz about Tiana Taylor for that one.
And you know what? I want everyone. So this is where it's one of those situations where I love Tiana Taylor. She was actually, she had the favorite movie during the year that Zone of Interest won. That was my favorite movie until the end. It was a movie called 1001, and the director is Ava Rockwell. And everyone should see that. If you like Tiana Taylor, see it. It's an amazing movie. She is amazing in it. And then I'm going to get her in this, which is fine. But I would rather it be Wunmi Mosaku.
Okay, we're going to have to see. Okay, really quickly, any dark horses in any of the categories that you see coming through and getting that award?
Amy Madigan, maybe, in Best Supporting Actress. It could be Amy Madigan. Also, I kind of think it would be funny if Ethan Hawke won Best Actor, even though I'm not rooting for him to win, because he's been nominated 4 times, twice for Best Adapted Screenplays and twice for Best Supporting Actor, one of which is Training Day. And this great movie called Boyhood that is very long, but I do love it. I think it's one of his best roles. He's a really good actor. He's an American treasure. I don't want him to win for this, but if he won, it would be one of those like Lifetime movie awards. Oh, we really appreciate you. Also in Best Supporting Actress, I want to mention, and I might mispronounce her name, Inga. It's Dr. I forget her last name. Let me just take a quick look at my notes. Inga, it's Dr. Lilias.
Okay.
She's in Sentimental Value as well. That's a very good movie. People didn't really see it. I think it would actually speak to a lot of people in the audience. It's about a family. It's very like low key. She's not going to get it. No one knows who she is, and the name is very challenging. But she is also a very good actor. She's great.
We're going to have to see what happens tonight. All right, thank you so much for joining us, Sarah Vincent, for being here, and we'll see who brings home the awards. All right, coming up, handpicking the celebrities we all know. Who's being honored with a new category at the Oscars this year?